Senior Citizen Savings Scheme is an excellent product for the retired people. It has interest rate which is higher than the bank rate, a guaranteed interest rate for 5 years, flexibility features in case if you need the money urgently, everything that you are looking for is packed into this particular plan. In this episode, I am going to talk to you about everything that you need to know about Senior Citizen Savings Scheme. This is NRI Money Clinic for you, and I am Dr. Chandrakant Bhatt, investment consultant and a financial planner.
NRI Money Clinic. No hype, just the right advice.
Now let us look at this Senior Citizen Savings Scheme in every bit of detail. This scheme is basically designed for the senior citizens to have a good cash flow during their retired years. Obviously, this is for the aged person. So any person who is aged above 60 years of age can subscribe to this particular plan. There are some exceptions to this rule as well. For example, if somebody has superannuated by 55 years of age or has taken a VRS around 55 years of age, then they can also subscribe to this plan, and there are a few conditions which will be attached with this. Likewise, for defense personnel, if they have retired from their services by age 50, they too also can subscribe for this Senior Citizen Savings Scheme. There are two sets of people who cannot subscribe for this particular plan. One, the NRI community cannot subscribe for this particular product. Likewise, HUF, Hindu Undivided Families, are also not allowed to invest in this particular plan. There is a question here. If I purchase the Senior Citizen Savings Scheme as a resident individual and subsequently I become an NRI, what happens in such a case? In such a case, whatever that you have purchased as a resident individual in Senior Citizen Savings Scheme, you can continue to hold till maturity, but you can't reinvest again into this particular scheme. This scheme is basically designed to create an income for the retired people. The interest rate you get here is generally more than the bank rate of interest. Currently, the interest rate that is applicable is 7.4% per annum. Once you buy into this Senior Citizen Savings Scheme, for the next 5 years, the interest rate will not change. Even though the interest rate today is 7.4%, every quarter government fixes the new interest rate which is applicable. It could be more, it could be less depending on the circumstances of the day. But if you have purchased it today at 7.4%, for the entire contract period, that interest will not change for you. Suppose if you are buying into the scheme, in the next quarter, you have to check what is the applicable interest rate. Now, what happens to the interest that gets accumulated in this particular scheme? Now, here in this scheme, there is no compounding. Every quarter, on the first working day, the interest gets paid out into your bank accounts. When a person invests into this Senior Citizen Savings Scheme, the product will have a maturity at 5 years. So, you have a contractual interest rate applicable for 5 years. There is also another provision here. Now, suppose after 5 years, if you intend to extend the contract, you can extend it for next 3 more years. Let's say that you have contracted at 7.4% today. 5 years later, you feel that the interest rates have fallen down and have gone to 4%. But you still have an option here to extend this contract for another 3 more years. Or if you think the interest rates have moved up, you can close the contract there and you can subscribe again at the new interest rate. That possibility exists for you. Now, even though you extended the contract by 3 years, any time after the extension of your contract, you can close down this contract without any penalty. But for NRIs, let's say that you have purchased into Senior Citizen Savings Scheme as a resident individual and you become an NRI subsequently, then you cannot extend the contract beyond 5 years. Up to 5 years, you can hold till the maturity. You will not be allowed to extend the contract if you become an NRI. Now, how to invest in this Senior Citizen Savings Scheme? What should you do? Where should you go? Now, this Senior Citizen Savings Scheme is available to you in post office. It is also available to you in all public sector banks. It is available in select private banks as well. You can walk into any one of these institutions and you can invest in senior citizen savings scheme provided you are eligible to invest in this. Now that you have decided to invest in senior citizen savings scheme, how much money can you invest? What is the method to follow? You can invest money in this scheme in multiples of 1000 rupees. Let us say today you have invested about 50,000 rupees in this particular scheme. Tomorrow you can't come back and add to the same account. So if you have invested 50,000 here, this is one account. Next month, if you want to put another 50,000, it will become one more account. Like this, you can have any number of accounts that you think of. The only condition here is it should not exceed 15 lakh rupees per person. That's the only condition. You can have multiple number of accounts. Upper limit is 15 lakh rupees. Minimum amount you can invest in this particular scheme is 1000 rupees. I would like to add a word of caution here. When I say upper limit is 15 lakh rupees, it is 15 lakh rupees cumulatively. Let's say that you have 10 different accounts, all put together, it should not exceed 15 lakhs. It's not that every time you can bring 15 lakhs and keep depositing money into this account. It should not exceed collectively 15 lakh rupees. What are the types of accounts you can have in senior citizen savings scheme? You can invest into the scheme as a single account holder or as a joint account holder. If you are investing as a single account holder, it is your age which matters. Suppose if you are investing into this particular scheme as a joint account holder, then the age of the first holder is taken into account. There is no age bar for the second account holder. Even for the limitations of 15 lakh collectively, the maximum limit permissible under the scheme, it is the first holder which will be considered. Now, in a family, if you want to invest the maximum amount of 15 lakh rupees per person into this particular scheme, you have two options. Husband and wife, you can put 15 lakhs in husband's name and you can do 15 lakhs in wife's name as a single account holder. Or you can have two joint accounts. In one of the joint account, husband will be the first account holder and the wife will be the second account holder. In the second joint account, wife can be the first account holder and the husband can be the second account holder. This way, you can invest a maximum of 30 lakhs per couple into this particular scheme. Now let us look at how this particular scheme is treated in the tax matters. Now first, the interest income. What happens to the interest income? The interest income that you get from this particular scheme is a taxable income. It gets added to your income and gets taxed at the rate which is applicable to you. Whatever the tax bracket you fall into, that is the applicable income tax you have to pay against the interest income from this particular scheme. If you are exempted, you don't have to pay. If you are taxed at the highest bracket, you have to pay the maximum income tax against the interest income that you derive from this particular scheme. When you invest money into the scheme, up to the maximum limit of 1.5 lakh per year, you have the 80C exemption limits which are available to you. These are the two tax provisions, you have to keep it in mind. Now, when you are paid with interest income, the TDS is also applicable here. Now, the TDS will not be there for everyone. If the total interest that gets paid to you is more than 50,000 rupees, then the TDS will be applicable. If you give your PAN number at the time of opening this account, the TDS that will be deducted will be 10%. If you have not provided the PAN number, the TDS that will be applicable will be 20%. When it comes to the question of TDS, many people think TDS is the tax. TDS is not taxation. TDS is preemptive taxation. It means you may not file returns, so the government has a right to collect taxes in advance. Now, if the TDS done is 10%, and at the end of the year, you are not liable to pay any taxes because your income is within that non-taxable limit, then what you can do is you can file the returns and claim the refund. Or let us look at the other side now. If you have paid a TDS of 10%, but you fall into a tax bracket of 30%, in such a case, you are liable to pay the balance tax. You have paid 10%, you are supposed to pay 30%, the remaining taxes you have to pay. So TDS is only a preventive taxation, so it is not the final tax that you have to pay. Now suppose if you are a person with low income and you have no taxes to pay and you know about this and you don't want the TDS to be done, there is a way out. All that you have to do is you have to provide the 15G form or 15H form as applicable in your case and give it to this post office or the bank well ahead of the time, and if they receive these two forms, then they may not do the TDS against the interest that is payable to you. Now that you have invested in senior citizen savings scheme, if a condition develops wherein which you need urgently the money, can you take some money out of this particular scheme? The answer is yes and no both. Suppose you want a small amount of money, you cannot take partial withdrawal from this particular scheme. Let's say that you have put 5 lakh rupees and what you need is 50,000 rupees. You can't go and take out that 50,000 rupees from this particular scheme. But there is a provision to pre-close this account once for all. Let us say that if you pre-close this account during the first year itself, before the completion of 1 year, then what happens is you will not get any interest from this particular scheme. If any interest is already paid to you in the previous quarters, when you close it, the interest which has been paid to you will be deducted back. Now once it completes 1 year of time, then if you pre-close it, in that case 1.5% penalty will be collected from your invested amount. Once the scheme completes 2 years, then the penalty that will be applicable will be 1% of your invested capital. Now after 5 years, if you have extended the contract by another 3 years, at that point of time if you want to pre-close, there are no penalties which is applicable. Now there is something else you have to keep in mind. Now I told you during the tax treatment that you have an ATC benefit that is available for the invested amount. Now while filing tax returns, if you have claimed the ATC benefit for reducing your income, now if you pre-close this before the contract period, the benefit that is given to you under ATC will be withdrawn, and whatever the tax breaks that you have claimed, you are liable to pay it back. Dear viewers, if you think the topic that I discussed today was useful to you, give me a thumbs up. If you are watching this program for the first time, or if you are yet to subscribe for this channel, please press the subscribe button and press the bell icon. Don't forget to share this video with your near and dear ones. I will be back with you very soon with one another topic and one other video on this channel. Thank you very much for watching this episode on NRI Money Clinic.
Press the bell icon for more details and subscribe our channel.